Hey everybody, what's up? So this is a video in response to the video that was posted on Twitter earlier, and where I captured the tail end of some paranormal activity going on in my house. Now, a lot of people would think, well, what did you capture? I could only capture the tail end of it, of course, because I didn't know it was going to happen. So that's why only part of the video was captured. In other words, you know, the ghost didn't tell me, hey, we're about to do something, so, you know, get the camera ready and start filming. It didn't happen like that. But for those who don't believe that there is paranormal activity going on in my house, I'm not asking anyone to believe. It's up to you what you believe. Anyway, so we've been in this house since November 1995, and I believe the house was built around about 1950, and there's a lot of like old mine seams and coal seams and that running underneath the house or near to the house. Don't think we've got any mine shafts or anything, but whether that's influenced things, what have gone on. But anyway, we moved in here round about November of 1995, and nothing untoward happened in the following months, apart from it was freezing cold in the house. We didn't have any central heating, and there was big holes in the wall where there was another door that had been built in, but it had been like shoved with newspapers. Basically, the house was so run down, and I was actually renting the house at the time. So we put up with it. You have to put up with it. You need a roof over your head. You make do with what you've got. And it wasn't until June of 1996, so around about 6-7 months later, that the first paranormal event happened. And what happened there was, I was the only householder in the house at the time. Everyone else was out. Well, when I'm saying that, my mum lived with me, she still does. And I only had 2 daughters at the time. And my eldest daughter, she was going on for 6 years old. And my youngest daughter, who's now my middle daughter, she was just over a year old, and they were down my sister's house at the time, and I was going to have a night in with some friends. And so my mom and my daughters went down to my sister's, who just like lived down the road, and I was going to spend a nice Saturday evening in with a group of friends. So I'd been doing housework all day, been doing gardening all day, as you can imagine. You know, I was a single parent, so try and get the house nice and clean, nice and tidy. And by the time I was going to have a bath, my friends had started to arrive. So I was like, well, just make yourself comfy in the living room, you know, get something to drink. And I'm just going to have a quick bath, you know, to get ready. I felt really grubby, and I'll be down to you as soon as. So I went upstairs and I had my bath. And I got dressed, and I didn't get overly dressed, of course, because I was staying in my own home with friends. So I was going to walk down the stairs, and I'd taken a couple of steps down when something to the right caught my eye. And the girls' bedroom door was open. They shared a bedroom, and it was open. So as the door was open, you can see right to the window, the bedroom window, which is at the front of the house. So, and my eldest daughter's bed is by the window, and so if you like walk to the bottom of her bed, you can get to the window. And so something catches my eye. I stand still, I look, and for a minute, just for a second rather, I actually believe that it's one of my own children, until it registers with me that my own children aren't even in the house. And this figure, it was like a silhouette. It wasn't completely solid where I could see any facial features, but it wasn't like a shadow where you could completely see through it either. It was just like, I don't know, like a really thick shadow, but not quite a body. But I could tell that it was a little girl, and it had a clear outline of hair, long hair. I could, like I said, I couldn't see any face. There was no facial features. And so in between the side of the bed and the bedroom window, the wall where the bedroom window is, she's standing there, and she's probably roughly in height as my eldest daughter was at the time. So, and she looks at me for a couple of seconds. I know she's looking in my direction, but after a few seconds, she ducks down, so now the bed, the mattress, that side of the bed is completely obscuring it. I wasn't scared at that point. It was daytime. It was still light, should I say. It was early evening. It was a nice warm summer's evening. It was very light, and all the curtains were still open in the house. So I just looked. I watched her do it. I didn't bother to go and investigate. I did think to myself, oh, wow, what have I just seen? That was odd. But then I came downstairs to my friends, and I didn't think anything else about it. And I won't really go into any more detail about what happened that evening. But I never told anybody, like family members, friends, anyone, about what I'd seen. I wasn't quite sure what I'd seen anyway. It didn't scare me. Now I'm scared of absolutely everything. I'm scared of my own shadow. But for some reason, this apparition, this thing that I'd seen, this figure, didn't actually frighten me one bit. But I was always conscious of it. So our toilet door, which is separate from the bathroom, so the toilet, it's like I say, it's an older house, so the toilet is on one side of the house and the actual bathroom is on the other side of the house, and the bedrooms separate them, and the girls' bedroom is right next to the toilet door. So every time I wanted to use the bathroom, I'd walk upstairs. But because I knew I'd seen this thing, and even though I'd never discussed it with anyone, I had this thing about always keeping that bedroom door shut. Now, I know I still allowed my children to sleep in that room, because my mum lives with us, and she did back then, so she stayed in that room with them as well. And so I was always conscious, always at the back of my mind. I didn't overly think it, but if I had to pass that bedroom door to go to use a toilet, I had to close it, and I still do that to this day. And we've been here over 25 years, and even in the daytime, if no one else is in the house, then that bedroom door has to be closed, even in the daytime. I don't like it being open. So again, I didn't discuss anything. But so 6 months later, on New Year's Eve of 1996, my sister had suffered a breakup with her ex-partner. Again, I won't go into detail, but she had 3 small children of a similar age to mine. So between us at that point, we had 5 children. So my mum had 5 grandchildren, and my house is a lot smaller than my sister's, but we were like, hey, just come and stay with us. We didn't have a lot back then, and so the house was still really freezing cold. I mean, at this point, we'd been in the house like for just over 12 months, and still there wasn't a lot of improvements on the house. The council really hadn't bothered to do anything to try and, sort out our heating problems, which our fire the whole heating system just kept breaking and breaking, and sometimes they just put a tag on it saying, you know, dangerous to use and do not use, and then we'd be left without heating. But during that particular New Year's Eve, we invited my sister up, and we're like, you know, come spend New Year's Eve with us as a family, and you know, we'll celebrate New Year's together. So she came up with his children, but one of our aunts off my dad's side had invited us round to her house. So my mum was like, yeah, like you and your sister go, and I'll have all of the children. So that's fine. We went there. We met up with like aunts, uncles, cousins. Had a real good time. It was snowing, as I remember, and you know, we were playing in the snow and writing things in the snow, as you do like when you're in your early 20s. And so we came back in. We'd had such a good time, but you know, we were a bit drunk, we were a bit tipsy. And so we came in, my mum's sitting in the living room. Have you had a good time? Yes, mum, we've had a good time, but we're like really tired and we've had a bit too much drink. We're going to go to bed. Now, how we'd arranged it, and this is why I'm emphasising on how cold the house was. At that point, it was freezing. So we decided that we would put our beds like together, like mattresses and things. I think at that point, I think my bed had broken, so I know that I had just a king size mattress on the floor. So we were like, right, we'll all sleep in one room to keep each other warm. So that's me, my mom, and my sister, and 5 little children. We'd all squeeze in together in one room to try and make each other warm. Yes, it sounds so poor. I really was back then. I literally had nothing. But we had the love of the family, and we thought, well, we'd just keep each other warm. You had to make do back then. So we were all cuddling up, and me and my sister was like lying next to each other and like really like laughing and giggling over what had happened at my aunt's house. And my mum said that she'd lock up and make sure the house was secure, because back then we only had those little like metal windows with one pane of glass, you know, the little wooden doors. The back door was just, it was like cardboard. So we really had to make sure everything was nice and secure as best as we could. So mum was like, you know, I haven't had a drink, I will lock up. So we've kind of got, I think the bedroom door was shut. So me and my sister were still laughing and giggling as we're lying next to each other. And my mum comes up the stairs, and my mum's like, come on, which one of you is it? Who's there? And me and my sister like stop what we're doing, we'll stop what we're saying, and we're like, who's mum talking to? And she's like, come on, I know it's one of you. So we say to her, we shout through the door, Mum, who are you talking to? I know it's one of you, she says. Are you one of you's hiding from me? And it was then what had happened 6 months earlier hit me very hard. And I stopped laughing. And I had this horrible feeling that my mum had seen exactly what I had seen. So I says to my sister, I'm like, just stay there a minute. Not as though she had any intentions of getting up. I'm like, just stay there a minute, Debbie. Let me just see what's up with mum. Even though I had that horrible sickly feeling that I knew what was wrong with my mum. So my mum knows that I'm literally scared of everything, and that's like heights, spiders, my own shadow. Basically, I'm literally scared of everything. And so I I get up and my mum's standing on the landing and she's looking in the girls' bedroom, which is empty. And she's staring right in there, and she's just got the door kind of, kind of open, probably about, I don't know, about a foot open. You could like see in, and I'm like, "What's up, Mum?" She goes, which one of you is it? Which one's hiding? I was like, "What are you on about, Mum?" And she goes, "One of you's hiding in there. Someone's in there trying to make me jump. I've just seen somebody in there." I'm like, "Mum, nobody's in there. Open that bedroom door. We're all in there. We're all in the other room." And she looks at me, and I just know, and she's kind of trying to not block my way, but she's kind of standing in between me and the gap of the door. Like she kind of knew, oh, if I've seen something, I don't want Alison to see it. But what she didn't know at that point is I'd already seen it 6 months earlier. So she's saying all this, and I'm saying, no one's in there. They're all in that room. Go check if you don't believe me. And she's looking at me, and she's just got that look on her face. I can't really describe it, but that what's the next move? She doesn't want me to know what she's seen, because she knows that I will be really scared. So I just looks at my mum and I goes, "You've seen her, haven't you?" And she's like, "What?" I goes, "You've seen her, haven't you?" And she says, "No, I haven't." How does she know who I was on about? And I always say that to her. If she did not know what I was on about, she would have said, "What are you on about? Seen who? Seen what?" But her only answer was, "No, I haven't." And it wasn't a really convincing expression on her face either. So I'm kind of trying to push past her at this point. And I'm like, "Yes, you have, Mum. You've seen it. You've seen the little girl." And I managed to push past it. And at this point, we both look in the bedroom. We both look through the gap of the door into the far wall where the window is. And we both look in there. The bed at this point is in a different position. So the headboard is actually up against, goes underneath the window. My daughter's bed does, and it's lying against that wall. So there is like a clear gap there. But what my daughter had for Christmas at that point was like a carry crib, a swinging crib, where you put your dolls in and you can swing the crib, and that's by the side of the bed. And as I push past my mum and we both look in through the gap, because my mum's then following me thinking, "Oh, please, Alison, don't go in there. There's something in there." We both look in, and lo and behold, that thing, that shadow, that little girl is still there. And both me and my mum see it together. We both see it at the same time. And I tell you what, I absolutely... I jumped out of my skin, and I was so frightened. I was like, I wasn't screaming or anything, but I was like, oh, I was absolutely so panicked. And that was when the fear set in. That was when the fear of seeing that little girl set in for me. And I think that's probably the last time I'd actually seen her with my own eyes. I think I may have seen her another time. I definitely had an experience of a little girl. That I'll save that for another time, but just absorb this particular story. There's so many chapters to this. There's so many episodes to this. There's so many things that have gone on in this house. So I'll leave you with this one. It's almost 20 minutes long. Thank you for watching. If you've liked what I've told you, it's my first video, so cut me some slack here. But if you do like it, subscribe, smash the like button for me, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope this first part offers some clarity over the Twitter video that was posted earlier. Thank you so much. See you guys later.